Okay, continue reading our Nebosh question. Scenario: you have been appointed as a competent person to assist managers in undertaking their responsibilities for health and safety. You have noticed that managers seem reluctant to investigate accidents. A worker of a newly appointed manager has been injured when reversing vehicle struck the worker, causing an injury that require treatment in hospital. You decide to schedule a meeting with managers to discuss the possible costs involved. A meeting scheduled for 1 hour has been arranged with yourself and a manager for you to discuss the cause of incidents in the workplace. Test. Cause of incident. Prepare some notes for discussions at the meeting. You want to make clear financial arguments so that the manager understands the business case for managing her health and safety. You decide your notes should cover direct and indirect cost example. Direct cost 5 marks, indirect cost 5 marks, total 10 marks. Approaching the question. Now think about the step you will take to answer the question. Step 1. The first step is to read the scenario carefully. Note that this is the manager of the worker who has been seriously injured. This means information should be easy to understand. An example can be used to support that understanding. We do not want the managers to be confused. You are asked to provide some notes. You will need to structure your approach accordingly. Step 2. Now look at the task. Prepare some notes using two headings. Direct costs, indirect costs. Step 3. Next, consider the marks available. In this test, there are 10 marks distributed between two parts. Tests that are multi-part are often easier to answer because there are additional signposts in the question to keep you on track. In this test, you have to create some notes that are easy to understand. Giving an example for each part, they can aid understanding. You will need to provide around 10 or more different pieces of information, including example, in total for this test. The headings will allow you to keep your responses separate. This will also help the examiner when marking. Step 4. Read the scenario and test again to make sure you understand them and have a clear understanding of costs. Reread your study text if you need to. Step number 5. The next stage is to develop a plan. There are various ways to do this. Remind yourself, first of all, that you need to be thinking about direct and indirect costs. Each part requires example. Suggested answer outline. Start with the general introductions. There are many costs of accidents which can be divided into direct and indirect costs. Direct costs: first aid treatment, sick pay, repairs to equipment, lost or damaged product, lost production time, overtime cover the injured person, fines in criminal court, compensation payment to victim. Indirect costs: investigation time, lost employee morale, cost of additional control measures, compliance with enforcement notices, cost of recruiting and retaining additional employee, example for cover, damaged customer relationship, damaged public image. You may not have to use all the examples given. Choose which one you could explain in a meeting with a new manager. Now have a go of question with yourself. Example of how the question could be answered. When we have an incident, there is an often injury to a worker or property damage. The costs associated with the incident can be large because they have not been budgeted for. They are severely affected the cash flow of business. This may make it difficult to purchase raw materials or pay workers. Incident costs can be divided into two types of costs, namely direct and indirect costs. Direct costs are measurable costs arising directly from the incident. Indirect costs are those costs that result as a consequence of the incident. Indirect costs are often difficult to put numeral value against, and they can be difficult to identify. Direct costs. In the recent incident where the worker was struck by a revising vehicle, the costs associated with the first aid treatment are direct costs. When the worker arrives at the hospital for treatment, the hospital will be able to allocate the cost to treatment given. This cost is often recovered from the worker's company. If the enforcing authority decides to prosecute, the legal fees involved are direct costs. Indirect costs. The meeting is effectively indirect costs it is all part of the investigation process. While we try to establish the cause of the incident and ways to prevent the recurrence, the morale of other workers may be affected having seen or heard about this incident. These may affect productivity of work quality, an indirect cost that is difficult for us to quantify. Reason for poor marks achieved by exam candidates. Giving examples of costs that are incorrectly assigned to direct or indirect categories. Not following the structured approach. Not identifying direct and indirect costs. Exceeding the overall word count for the whole exam by more than 10%. The examiner may not read excessively long explanations. Not providing an answer to the task question at all. If you don't attempt at all tasks, you cannot get any mark for the task questions you omit. Not considering the scenario, in this case a new manager, so overly complex explanations or highly detailed example may not attract marks. Reference. Nebosh Open Book Examinations Learner Guide Guidance document for preparing for the Open Book Examination for IG1, 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 NGC1, and IGC1, Unite Nebosh 2020. www.nebosh.org.uk Document Open Book Examination Learner Guide. How health and safety management systems work and what they look like. Learning objective. Once you have studied this element, you should be able to, first, give an overview of the elements of the health and safety management system and benefit of having a formal or certified system. So the second is discuss the main ingredient of health and safety management system that make it effectively. Policy, responsibilities, arrangement. Occupation health and safety management system. Introduction to Occupation Health and Safety Management System. In 2 up to 3, ILO OS 2001, the ILO Occupation Safety and Health Management System. Okay. Also ISO 45001, the Occupation Health and Safety Management System standard. Making management system work. Blah blah blah. Okay. Occupation Health and Safety Management System. In this section, two widely recognized occupations healthy and safety management system, OHS-MS, exist for the systematic management of health and safety, ILO OS 2001 and ISO 45001. Both are based on the Plan, Do, Check, Act management cycle. The ILO OS 2001 OHS-MS can be summarized as policy, organizing, planning and implementations, evolutions, action for improvement and audit. ISO 45001 is extremely verified OHS-MS standard that can summarize context of the organization's leadership and worker participant, planning, support, operations, performance evaluations, and improvement. Introduction to Occupations Health and Safety Management System. The management of workplace health and safety must be considered systematically within any organization of any significant size. In the same way as any other form of management, a systematic approach to the management of the organization health and safety is referred to as Occupation Health and Safety Management System, OHSMS. There are two common OHSMS used by organizations internationally. They are usually identified by reference to their publication code number, ILO OSH 2001 and ISO 45001. ILO OSH 2001 is the ILO's own SMS published in a guidance note called Guidance on Occupational Safety and Health Management System. ISO 45001 is the OHSMS standard published by the International Organization for the Standardization, or ISO. ISO is Organization for Standardizations. Okay, organizations are free to develop their own OHSMS. By working to a recognized standard can be advantage. Both SMS are based on what is known as the PDCA management cycle. Plan, set your aims and objectives, and plan how to achieve them. Do, put your plans into effect, implement them. Check, monitor your progress toward the aims and objectives that you set yourself. Act, routinely review progress and change what you are doing if it looks like you are missing your target. Plan, act, do, check. Plan, act, plan, do, check, action, act. Occupation Health and Safety Management System, ILO OSH 2001, the ILO Occupation Safety and Health Management System. Okay, like policy, organization, planning, implementing evolution, actions for improvement, audit. The ILO is 2001 Safety Management System. Okay. ILO OSH 2001, the ILO Safety and Health Management System. Policy plan. A clear statement has to be made to establish health and safety as a prime commitment of management at all levels of organization, but particularly at the top. Organizing plan. A framework of rules and responsibility for health and safety must be created within the organization, from senior management down to the frontline worker, including the appointment of specialist staff. Planning and implementing. Detailed arrangement must be made for the management of health and safety. Central to this area is the concept of risk assessment and the identification and implementation of safe system of work and protective measures. Evaluations, check. Methods must be revised to monitor and review the effectiveness of arrangement put into place. This must be done reactively, example by reviewing accidents and ill health statistics, or actively, or example by reviewing inspections report. Audit. Check arrangement must be made for the independent, systematic, and critical examination of the SMS to ensure that all parts are working acceptably well. Action for improvement. ACT. ACT is mean action for improvement. Any shortcoming identified by the review process must be corrected as soon as possible by making whatever adjustments are necessary to the policy, organization, and arrangement for the implementation. Continual improvement. The intention that the SMS will not remain static, but will develop over time to become increasingly approved and useful to the organization that it exists to serve. Note: in the outline, locations of each element of the PDCA cycle has been indicated in brackets after element title just to health. Occupation Health and Safety Management. For more information, www.ilo.org safework/info/standard and instrument. ISO 45001. The Occupational Health and Safety Management System Standard. The ISO standard ISO 45001 provide an OHSMS standard. An organization can be externally audited against. Successful certifications to the management standard means that the organization can demonstrate to other interested parties, such as clients, that it has robust SMS that can stand up to close scrutiny. You know scrutiny, what meaning scrutiny? Scrutiny. Where is explain? Oh, translate. Scrutiny where? Okay, no problem. Scrutiny. What does it mean? Mm. ISO 45001 is based on the PDCA management cycle and is fully compatible with other ISO management standards such as ISO 9001, an internationally recognized quality management standard, and ISO 14001, an internationally recognized environmental management standard. Outline of the standard. In the following outline, the location of each element in the PDCA cycle has been indicated in brackets after the element title just to help. Occupation Health and Safety Management System. Context to the organization management system framework require that the OS or each SMS is designed and operated so as to be approved to the organization and its operations environment. Referring to the figure, we can see that this firm both the organization in which the management system operates, the boundaries of the system, and the system itself, they set the same. Leadership and worker participant. Management system framework requires that the OHSMS is driven by those at the top of organizations with the active engagement and participations of workers at all levels. From the figure, we can see these requirements sit at the heart of the PDCA management cycle with a very heavy emphasis on management leadership. The standard makes it clear that top management must be personally involved in driving or promoting the management system. Planning plan requires that the ongoing planning process firm as part of the OHSMS so that hazards, risks, and opportunities for improvement are identified and approved action identified and planned. These requirements sit in the planned elements of the PDCA cycles and contain many requirements which are central to most organization health and safety management arrangement, such as planning for emergency and planning the risk assessment system. Support. DO is concerned with the provisions of support for the OSMS so that we can establish, implement it, maintain it, and continually improve. Operations require the hazard and risk are operationally managed. The figure shows how both of these requirements form the due element of the PDCA cycle, being concerned with many of the core management activities and are central to good occupational health and safety (OEHS) management. Performance evaluations requires the systematic internal monitoring and reviewing of OEHS performance with a view to driving continual improvement. The figure shows how this fulfill requirement of check in the PDCA management circle. Improvement 8 embed the principle of learning lessons and implementing the learning from those lessons into the OHSMS. The figures show how this sits on the position of 8 that closes the loop of the management cycles and explicitly require both organization learning and ongoing enhancement of the management system. From the practical perspective, they require set out many routine OHS management activities, such as safety inspections, to identify non-conformities and accident investigations. To be continued later.